Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley live with you. It's about 8 o'clock here as we work our way through our Thursday. Of course, we're watching the threat of storms still across our Triad area from now until about 10 o'clock or so this evening. That's when you'll have the best chance to see some thunder, lightning, and possibly some hail too. So far this evening, we have had some hail in good chunks of the area. Some wind, not all that much of it so far, and rain, lightning, thunder, yeah, we've had that too. Now, not everybody is getting anything all that bad. In Winston-Salem right now, you can see the clouds are dark and everything. There's been some rainfall, mostly of the light variety over the last little bit, but right now it's pretty much all good. At the moment, it's just calm after you got some rain and some thunder. Temperatures have cooled off as well, down into the upper 60s as it stands right now. Take a look at High Point. It is a little bit of a different story. I'll step out of the way so you can get a little bit of a better look here. Some thunder and lightning keeps on flashing. As we look at this camera, it is pointed off to the south and to the west. So there's a bit of a thunderstorm that's been rolling through Lexington, Davidson County, places like that. And that's been visible on this camera. But overall, the weather is not all that severe in High Point at the moment. Not all that windy, just getting a little bit of rain right now. But those lightning flashes out in the distance, they've been pretty frequent, and they should continue to be that way as we see just a couple more, mostly looking into Davidson County over there. That's been that one storm that's had the most lightning over the last little bit. Live view in Burlington right now. A little bit of clear sky on the very much horizon. Hasn't rained yet, hasn't stormed yet either. And right now there's nothing imminent that's threatening you at the moment. Let's take a live look at the big time radar. This would be the wide view, and you'll notice it's just really busy. This all got started right around 4 o'clock this afternoon, but honestly, as we were kind of expecting, it's been worse in the western counties, and then these storms have had a hard time staying together and maintaining their strength as they move a little bit more off to the east. Even still, you can see the line of showers and storms pretty much extends from Danville, Virginia, all the way down to Charlotte and all the way back over closer to Asheville as well. Let's take a closer view back in our Triad area right now. That's that thunderstorm we were looking at from the High Point camera. Lots of thunder and lightning down here. There's a warning on that one as well for possible high winds and some hail. Guilford County at the moment, honestly, just kind of escaping this system right now. There's rain, of course. Yeah, we have that. A couple of thunderbolts too, but nothing all that bad. This is mostly just beneficial rain with no wind, no problems. Some thunder, yes, but we can handle that. No hail, of course, in Guilford County right now. That's good to see, and kind of just splitting the difference between storms off to the north, storms off to the south. Let's take a look at Rockingham County. The weather's been a little bit bumpy over the last 90 minutes to 2 hours. This shower and thunderstorm actually formed up in Virginia, then dove south. It kind of took a beeline from Stoneville down to Wentworth. Got a picture of some hail up in the Stoneville area as well. Kind of missed Eden just a little bit off to the south, but even so, it's still packing a bit of a punch. No more warning on this one. It did have a severe thunderstorm warning at one point, but right now it's centered right up in Wentworth. Let me actually just pause the radar here so you can get a better view of the location of the worst of this. So if we zoom into Wentworth here, this would be Hancock Road. Right about there. There's Butter Road, Fock Farm Road as well, and it looks like Panel Road up that way. Highway 87 right about here. Heaviest rain, good amounts of thunder and lightning. Again, that's moving through Wentworth and continuing to go off to the south and to the east. Let's take a look at Stokes County right now. No warning on this one, but we do have good amounts of downpours, some hail can't be ruled out. When I start to see those pinkish colors mixing in with the darker reds, that's usually a good indication to us that there is some hail forming inside of the storm and could be falling out of it as well. It's not all that impressive, but it might be ready to put down some hail pretty quickly. That is headed over toward you in Stoneville. So I know you just had a storm. You're going to get another one coming at you from the west this time. That's the situation up in our border counties with Virginia right now. Let's take a little bit of a trip off to the south here. This is Lexington. You've really had a bumpy and noisy last couple of hours. It's really been busy with a good amount of thunder and lightning going on across Davidson County. Also looking at some downpour rain too. Those reds, no joke. Very, very heavy rainfall There's even been a little bit of spinning motion, not the type of spin that would worry me about a tornado or anything like that. But if I widen out the view, I can kind of illustrate what I mean here. Notice back when the storm was over Davie County, it almost had a little bit of a swirling motion to it. You see that right there? Sometimes that can indicate wind damage is getting ready to get going. Haven't seen any evidence of that so far with this storm system. But boy, oh boy, there's just been countless lightning strikes. In fact, that's not true. We can count them up here for you. Let's kind of take a scan of the area and see how many lightning strikes there have been. Of course, there are multiple storms along that I-85 corridor. So from High Point through Lexington all the way down to Concord, we got about 70 lightning strikes just within the last 15 or so minutes. If you're watching from Asheboro and Randolph County, that storm is headed your way. Closer to the Charlotte area from Concord, you have that storm kind of rolling through. Uptown's about to get some heavy rain, good amounts of thunder and lightning too. There's more action going on out here to the west too, from Shelby, places like Cleveland County, Gastonia, really been having a tough time. And those areas have been seeing some of the biggest hail in the state. Right on the south side of this line, 1 to 2 inch hail has been pretty common in that part of the area. Now, we're through this storm at least halfway at this point, and I'm pretty prepared to say that we're probably going to escape the worst of it here in the Triad area, which is to mean we're not likely to have super huge hail at this point or big time damaging wind gusts or tornadoes or things like that. What's been going on that's a good thing is that we're cooling everything off. You see it's 60 degrees in Lexington where it's been raining a whole lot. Mid 60s in Reidsville, 69 in Winston-Salem, and about 68 in Greensboro. That cooling is helpful because you take away some of the storm fuel as we go through the next couple of hours. It's not as likely that you're going to pop up new showers and storms. We're still going to have rain as we go throughout the nighttime hours, but maybe not as much in the strong to severe category. Winds, they've mostly been tame. Haven't seen too many big damage reports either. That's kind of the action as far as the wind situation. Severe weather, yes, we have had some of that across the Triad area. In fact, we still have this severe thunderstorm watch for the whole area. It runs until midnight, but as I was just saying, to me it looks like we're probably going to be able to get this thing canceled before that. So hopefully by around 10 o'clock or so, some counties get that all clear and we can start to, clear some of you out of that. As far as wind damage, haven't really seen too much of it. There was a report out of Wilkes County not that long ago that we can ask here and see what was going on. Looks like there were a few trees down in the Moravian Falls area near Pike Road and Wildcat Road in Moravian Falls. That was just a little earlier. All these other dots on the screen represent hail reports across Wilkes County. We had some up in Elkin and Dobson off to the north. Little report of some hail up in Stokes County as well. Rockingham has had some hail too, especially near Stoneville. But most of these reports have been centered around the southern part of the state here, from Asheville all the way down toward Charlotte, and that's where those worst storms are still happening right now. Let's take a look at Futurecast. This is around 8 o'clock tonight. It has a decent handle of how the storms have been moving so far, but honestly, it's a little bit too quick with them. They're actually moving more slowly than it gives them credit for. So if anything, this is a little bit too fast. Keep that in mind when we're looking at the timing here. It doesn't think that it'll get all that bad over the next couple of hours. Instead, it has us calming down rather than getting more active. That's its opinion here. Still though, as we go through the nighttime hours all the way through midnight, and a little bit beyond, some scattered rain, some scattered thunder and lightning is still possible. Temperatures though at that point are a lot cooler. So once you get down into the low 60s, boy is it hard to create a severe thunderstorm, and I just don't really see that as being all that likely. So our alert goes through about 10 o'clock, and I think that's pretty much going to be on the money for when we can start to stop worrying across our area. Now going into tomorrow, your Friday, right around lunchtime, should be dry. It's a really nice morning. Temperatures warming up into the low and mid 70s. After that, we go into the end of the afternoon. There will be the opportunity and the slight risk, a small chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. One or two of them, yeah, they might have some thunder and lightning, maybe a little bit of hail as well. So there is at least a low chance of a severe storm tomorrow, but it's not all that likely. As far as the rest of the night tonight, still keeping an eye on this to the next 2 hours or so. Wind damage possible. Hail, yeah, that's a good bet. We've seen a good amount of hail across our area. We're not worried about tornadoes. We're not really all that worried about flooding rain just because of how dry it's been for a little while. Our level 2 risk still on the table here, but I think we can kind of lower that for the rest of the night tonight. I'm not in charge of making these, just relaying the message from the Weather Service. Tomorrow, we're still at a level 1 risk of severe storms. I think that's pretty much on the money. We'll watch that afternoon time frame from about 1 p.m. through about 5 p.m. That's when there's that opportunity for possibly just a couple of storms popping up in our area. Futurecast, looking at this weather system, we've been on the warm side. Some of that mugginess crept in today. Maybe you felt the difference in the air outside. Cold front to the north and to the west. This low pressure area is really driving our weather change over the next couple of days. So as that front starts to sweep in from the west, you're going to notice a couple of things. You get a couple pop-up showers or a thunderstorm for Friday afternoon. That's that threat we talked about. And then behind it, you start to get some drier, cooler air that leads us into a pretty comfortable Mother's Day weekend. Temperatures will be cool, right around 70 for the high. It's a very nice day on Saturday. As far as Sunday goes, though, new low pressure forming down here in the deep south in the Gulf. That's going to be moving closer to us. So by Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, some clouds are at least a good bet, and it's possible we could get a little bit of rain to move our way for Mother's Day also. Take a look at our Futurecast here. This will be about 8:30 on Sunday evening. Showers and storms kind of moving in from the south just a little bit. So that's something we want to watch for out there for the end of the weekend. And into Monday we go. Showers and storms. Well, I should just say mostly showers. Steady rainfall is looking pretty likely throughout the day on our Monday. And then into Tuesday, well, look at that. We actually have stronger rain and possible downpours too, along with maybe a little thunder to go along with that. We could end up with a couple of inches of rainfall between Monday and Tuesday of next week. So over the next 5 days, there are good opportunities for rain. Not that much of it tomorrow, dry for Saturday, and then we're going back to it to start early next week. At this point, I want to go back to the live radar just to help you kind of reset the table here and go back to tracking some of the storms. I'm going to use my computer here with me as you get you through this News 2 weather impact alert, and just to see if anything has changed on our sky cameras over the last 10 or so minutes. Getting pretty dark in Winston-Salem. Here's our high point camera again, which has been looking at a lot of that thunder and lightning out to the south. But let's take a second to look at some of the hail that's been falling across our area today. This is a viewer picture. Hannah Hawkins snapping this and sending it in. There's a quarter. That didn't fall from the sky, we hope, but here's something that did. About a dime-sized hailstone up in that Stoneville area just earlier this evening. So that was pretty impressive. Earlier in the day, we had some hail falling, of course, over in places like Wilkesboro, where it was a bit busier out in the foothills for a little while. Let's take a look at the live radar once more as we load this up. Again, it's been pretty busy, but overall, I think things will start to calm down a little bit over the next 2 to 3 hours. In the meantime, areas I would highlight as being under the gun right now. Not so much in Guilford County, kind of just some gentle, nice and easy rain. You'll hear some thunder, see some lightning, but overall things are in good shape. Rockingham County, things are improving for you. That shower is weakening a little bit. Over in Alamance County, you're starting to see some rain, but I don't think you're going to get all that severe out of this. Where it is a little bumpy right now, though, is Randolph County. So if we zoom in here, this is Randleman and Asheboro. Let's take a look at you here to kind of interrogate this. Highway 64 is there. Here's 73 and 220. There's 85. So Thomasville, Randleman, Asheboro, and the like. Lots of lightning in this corner of the county. That's starting to make its way here, closing in on Level Cross and places like that. This is kind of a tough part of the storm. I'm not noticing anything all that windy. Well, actually, I take that back. There are really strong winds now. That's a big change over the last little bit. You see how it's kind of intensified? So right now we are seeing some higher winds. That brighter blue, I should indicate, that's what is catching my eye right now. Take a look at this. So we actually have about a 50 to 60 mile per hour wind blowing out of this. So this could be enough to put down some power outages. That's why you have a severe thunderstorm warning across Randolph County. The worst of it is moved out of Davidson. We can probably clear you from that warning pretty shortly, but that's a nasty looking wind signature on that part of the storm. And this warning goes until about 8:15. So over the next minute or two, they're going to have to decide whether or not to extend it. I think they should. They'll probably trim out Davidson and keep Randolph in this thing. As far as hail potential, There has been some hail in this storm, but not all that impressive. Those are your hail tracks with the storm. That was a little bit of a half hour or so ago. Now some of that hail has started to tail off, but like we just showed you, there's a lot of thunder and lightning, and of course that threat of gusty winds also. So in Asheboro, it's going to get pretty hairy here in the next little bit, probably about 15 or so minutes. We can put some arrival times on this for you as well. These storms are not moving all that fast. They've been slow movers throughout the course of the night tonight. So I'm going to put this at about 25 to 30 miles per hour, how it moves across Randolph County as we go forward in time. And here are some of your arrival times. So Siler City closing in on 9 o'clock. You have a while there. Ramsor about 8:40. Asheboro momentarily, just within the next 5 or so minutes. But that's that severe thunderstorm just pushing its way along the line and starting to move into Randolph County. That's the biggest storm we're concerned about right now in most of our area. If we do look down to Montgomery County, you have some action over here in Albemarle, which has been given problems. Lots of hail over here and thunder and lightning. That's moving your way. It's just starting to cross by Baden Lake. So those are the areas that I'm watching most closely right now. We did just get a new warning. As I said, it looks like they did some trimming, a little bit of cleaning up about this warning. They took out Guilford County, which makes sense. It's not a threat for us, for Forsyth either. But Davidson County, a little chunk down here near Jackson Hill. We have, of course, Randolph County, including now more Montgomery and Chatham counties as well. So this is a multi-county warning with good reason, but that's the only one on the board right now. So as we look at the radar picture here, it looks like the next couple of hours should be the end of our severe weather threat and severe weather alert. I realize a lot of you at home haven't seen any severe weather. That's good news. We hope that continues, but some of our friends and neighbors have and continue to do. We're going to be watching here from behind the scenes for a little while longer. We'll have another update coming up at 9 o'clock.